6 News at 6, working for you.
I feel like it's an avoidable accident. Like that didn't have to happen.
If you drive a car, be ready. A new law goes into effect tomorrow. What it means for you and why many think it will help save lives.
Schools are preparing to welcome back students, what experts are saying about the return to the classroom, and whether parents should send their children back into a school building right now.
No baseball at Victory Field. The Indianapolis Indians season canceled due to the pandemic.
Strong thunderstorms are rumbling into Hamilton County now, closing in on Carmel through Noblesville. We'll talk about the impact of these storms and the change ahead in my 7-day forecast.
Thank you for joining us here on the News at 6. I'm Amanda Starrentino.
And I'm Mark Mullins. First tonight, it's a new law and one that will impact every person who drives a car. Indiana's new hands-free cell phone law goes into effect tomorrow. RTV6's Megan Sanctorum finds out how police plan to enforce it and speaks to one woman who believes this will save lives.
It's a big change for drivers across the state. If you want to use your cell phone behind the wheel for a phone call or GPS, you'll have to do it hands-free. Speeding, tailgating, and weaving in and out of lanes. They're dangerous driving habits and ones police say they've seen from people holding their phone.
Whether it be just talking on it or trying to text or using it for directions or whatever it may be, their phone is in their hand and their driving behavior often is dictated by that distraction.
A distraction and danger that can change lives forever. Something Kelly Sire knows all too well.
I'm sure that it was a 2-second thing to look down at the phone, and then there was my husband.
She tells us her husband, Brian, was hit and killed by a distracted driver in 2011. Their kids just 6 and 10 years old at the time. So ever since then, she's been advocating for a law like this.
I feel like it's an avoidable accident. Like that didn't have to happen, and had someone made a different choice about what their driving safety was, that he would still be alive today.
Under this new law, drivers will have to use Bluetooth, a headset, or dashboard mount if they need to use their phone in the car. If police see you driving with your phone in hand, they can pull you over and write a ticket.
I think it's going to make the road safer for everyone, and everyone needs to take responsibility to change their behavior and keep that phone out of their hand. And I think if we can all do that, I think we'll reduce crashes by a significant number.
And hopefully save lives.
I just don't want that, any other family to go through that. And if this law somebody can be driving along and think about either my story or someone else they know, or just that they don't want to get a ticket and put their phone down, then that's amazing.
Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, RTV6.
Well, state police say they're going to be using the next few months to educate drivers and will likely start writing tickets for holding your cell phone later this year. We'll have more information about this new law on our website, theindychannel.com. A reminder now, tomorrow the Bureau of Motor Vehicles will resume charging late fees, so anyone with expired driver's licenses, permits, state ID cards, and vehicle registrations will be charged a late fee unless they complete renewal transactions before tomorrow.
And tonight, friends and family will take time to remember a 16-year-old Franklin Central High School student killed after the car she was in crashed into a pond over the weekend. Friends of Ella Major have organized a candlelight vigil at the scene of the crash. That crash happened around 7 Saturday night on Fry Road near Shelbyville and East Stop 11 roads on the southeast side of Indianapolis. That is where the car went into the pond. An IMPD officer pulled Major and another teen from the car. 2 others were able to get out and swim to safety themselves. The vigil begins at 8 p.m. Again, it's on Fry Road at the site of the crash. And working for you with an update on that community's effort to get a guardrail on that stretch of Fry Road. Neighbors say people speed around the curve, which has resulted in crashes like the tragic one Saturday night. City County Councilor Brian Mowry told us he reached out to the Department of Public Works. They said they would try to get someone out quickly to look at whether a guardrail could be a possibility on Fry Road. Mowry says DPW engineers could either recommend guardrails or some other possible solutions to improve traffic safety in the area. Whatever is recommended would likely need to be approved by the City County Council.
Traffic is moving once again in the northbound lanes of I-465 near I-70 on the east side after a pedestrian was hit and killed there this afternoon. Indiana State Police say a vehicle hit a person and that person was pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators haven't released the pedestrian's identity or the exact circumstances surrounding the incident. Well, this caused major backups on I-465 and I-70, but again, traffic is moving at this hour.
And we're once again tracking thunderstorms tonight, as you can see on our Storm Team 6 radar, but not everyone is getting them. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory is here with what's happening now and later this evening. Kevin.
They are slow-moving thunderstorms. They're in the problem with localized flooding. The humidity is so high. That's why these things have lots of moisture to work with and dump out into the city streets. Inch of rainfall in an hour's period of time, certainly not difficult to come by with this storm system in Hamilton County right now. Let's zoom in. Lots of lightning with this, especially just to the west of Noblesville, north of Carmel. Quite a lightning show. I'll take that out. Then you can see the darker the colors, the heavier the rainfall. Even some hail just east of 31 north of Carmel, west of 31. The storms will continue to move to the west, southwest. They start to thin out this evening, but they'll make an attempt on clipping northwest portions of Marion County and involve Hendricks as well. We'll go through that and the change that finally appears in the 7-day forecast.
There will be no baseball in Indianapolis this summer, all because of COVID-19. This evening, the Indianapolis Indians announced their season has been canceled. The Indians and the more than 100 teams in minor league baseball will not play this year, while Major League Baseball, including the Indians' parent team in Pittsburgh, were able to work out a plan for a 60-game season to be played without fans. The same was not possible for the minor leagues. Alternative events are planned for Victory Field.
As a parent, I'm like, you know, how much of a risk are we willing to take when it comes to the safety of our kids?
Summer is just beginning, but school districts around the state are getting ready for students to return for the first time since health officials declared COVID-19 a pandemic back in March. Working for WRTV6's Troy Washington shows us what experts think of students returning to school and whether or not parents should send their children back in the middle of a pandemic.
Ultimately, these are case-by-case decisions that have to be weighed with the family to kind of make a joint decision on what's best for their particular situations.
This expert says the decision is up to the parents at the end of the day, and it all depends on the family and who lives in the household that could possibly be at risk.
The child I would consider not to be at a whole lot of risk. If that child lived with someone who was getting chemotherapy and had heart failure and was over 65 years old, all those things would be a little bit concerning to me, and I might consider the risk a little bit differently.
Dr. Cole Biller thinks there is a wave of coronavirus cases on the way, which is something parents may want to consider while deciding whether to send their scholar back to the classroom or keep distance learning.
I expect, in the next few weeks that we are going to be seeing more cases and that we are going to get a little bit of a flare.
But he says
it seems like kids are a little bit less likely to actually spread the disease than was originally thought.
Takia Lewis runs BK Interventions, an initiative designed to keep scholars soaring. She's also a parent, so she sees both sides of the debate over sending children back to the classroom during the pandemic.
In reality, I am a parent first, and I have to do what's in the best interest of my child, and that's the same advice that I employ others take as well.
Some schools have released return to school plans, while others are still at the drawing board. Those plans include making sure students are wearing a mask during the day, reserving and limiting spots on school buses, rotating playground zones, increased disinfecting, and not allowing school visitors. Dr. Cole Biller says some of those guidelines are realistic, others not so much.
Really, it's going to be very difficult to expect kids to keep masks on their face the entire day, and I think that's okay. Kids are mobile. Try and move things outside, try and space things out as much as possible.
Working for you in downtown, Troy Washington, RTV6.
Today, Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb signed an executive order extending the prohibition on evictions, foreclosures, and the disconnection of utility services in Indiana amid the pandemic. The prohibition on evictions and foreclosures has been extended through July 31st. All utilities regulated by the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission are prohibited against service disconnections through August 14th. Unregulated utilities must also extend service until August 14th.
Numbers out today from the state show an increase in new COVID-19 deaths and cases. The Indiana State Department of Health reports 16 new COVID-19 deaths today. That is 11 more deaths than were reported yesterday. 2,448 Hoosiers have died from the coronavirus since the pandemic began. The Department of Health also confirms 385 new cases of the virus, an increase from 312 new cases yesterday, and so far 45,594 people in Indiana have been diagnosed with COVID-19. The state says more than 484,000 people have been tested for COVID-19. 9.4% of them tested positive for the virus. And Hiring Hoosiers is our mission to find you available jobs as well as the education needed to pursue the career you want. Let's get to the job feed. Touch of Love Home Health Care Incorporated in Indianapolis is looking for a certified home health aide. You provide personal care services under the direction of the registered nurse clinical supervisor. Miller Veneers Incorporated is a hardwood veneer manufacturer in Indianapolis. The company is hiring for plant labor positions. You must be able to lift up to 75 pounds. Pay starts at $14.50 an hour, and benefits are available. Hiring Hoosiers Partners Ferion needs call center representatives who will be based in downtown Indianapolis. Pay is $15 an hour, and you must have the ability to work remotely at least until August. Pinpoint Recruitment says warehouse associates are needed in Whitestown. You would be assisting in a consumer returns facility with the unpacking, testing, shelving, sorting, and shipping of consumer hardware and other household goods. To apply for these jobs and see other employment opportunities, just go to our job board at hiringhoosiers.com.
We are learning that an Amazon fulfillment center will open in early July at a business park in Whiteland. Today, the Johnson County town announced the online commerce giant will hire an undisclosed number of employees to work at the 530,000 square foot facility located at the new Whiteland Exchange Business Park. Construction on the new business park began in the spring of 2019. The fulfillment center will be Amazon's second facility in Johnson County. In August of 2019, Amazon announced plans to hire more than 1,000 workers at a new fulfillment center in Greenwood.
Strikes and spares are falling again. Bowlers are all over Indiana are getting back to the lanes. One of Indy's oldest alleys looks brand new after a long shutdown. We'll show you how it all came together.
And I'm Dave First. It's the power of perseverance, which has led Indiana's Chase Briscoe to the top of the Xfinity Series standings. His journey only on RTV6 in the Sports Extra Spotlight.
The leading edge of the Hamilton County storms, Noblesville, Westfield, up to Sheridan, is surging to the west-southwest. We'll talk about that and the prospects for a dry 4th of July weekend.
Hiring Hoosiers only on RTV6.
They were among the last places to reopen in the Hoosier State, but now bowling alleys all over Indiana are back in action for the summer.
Yeah, one long-standing bowling center on Indy's east side has a fresh new look inside. Brad Brown shows us how they're ready for the pins to fall.
For more than 3 months, bowling alleys all over Indiana remained silent. But this past weekend saw the pins starting to fall again.
It was weird coming in here and not having any customers. There were several times I was confused on what day it was because my leagues weren't bowling, so I wasn't sure what day we were really here.
All-Star Bowl on Indy's east side has hosted rollers from all over the city for decades.
My mother actually was pregnant with me when she first started working here, so they built it in '76. The old owners built it in '76. My mom probably 78 when she first started working here. Yeah.
The pandemic shutdown allowed time for a full remodel. The old lanes looking brand new again.
You know, when we were doing all the maintenance stuff, I don't want to say I didn't pay attention, but like when we literally opened up, I was like, oh, it's a different bowling center. It's not what I was used to, but I like it. I like it a lot.
That fresh look goes into the alley's cafe and lounge. Local artists sprucing up the space, much the same all over these old walls. Spring leagues turned into summer. Fall leagues will be starting before you know it. All-Stars regulars are ready to get back to throwing strikes again.
Our junior league is probably one of the biggest junior leagues in the state of Indiana. Our senior league is amazingly big too. They on Tuesday afternoons in the fall, they take up the entire house. Saturday nights in like the fall and winter, if it's raining and snowing, we're packed. I mean, weather's bad, you have a lot of bowlers, so yeah, people want to get out and be able to go do something.
The All-Star Bowl staff has new policies in place for social distancing and extra sanitation around the facility as well. Summer leagues are underway. They are signing up for fall, and there is plenty of hours for open bowling available as well. All-Star Bowl is open Monday through Saturdays on Indy's east side. You can find a lot more information on their Facebook page. Working for you, Brad Brown, RTV6.
If you're in Hamilton County, it may sound like a bowling ball hitting the lane, but that's thunder from a cluster of thunderstorms I'll show you in a second. All-out downpours, some torrential rainfall. Again, the rainfall rate will exceed 1 inch per hour. Look at the change, though. One more day tomorrow where we have showers, thunderstorms, some with heavy rainfall, and then the rain chance is 10% or less. They're never zero, but Thursday through the 4th of July, very low rain chances, comes back up a bit as we get to Sunday. Temperature trend, rain chances down, temperature back up. The only thing we could argue about, and I don't like to argue, is temperatures in the low 90s. Will it be 90 to 92, somewhere in there, 91 to 93? Just depends on the sunshine, but it will be as humid at times as where we've been. No doubt the focus right here with all of the lightning, and we're going to zoom into Hamilton and Tipton counties, and at first glance hard to see where Noblesville is or Sheridan, and then over toward Frankfort. I'll take the lightning out. Heaviest downpours now from Noblesville and Cicero through Westfield to Sheridan. These downpours leading to some street flooding. The leading edge of this pushing to the west-southwest and about ready to cross 421 east of Frankfort, north of Zionsville. I'll point out one other interesting feature on this radar. You can see these little green splotches here. Have you ever been outside and right before it starts to rain, you feel it really cool off? That's what we call the outflow from the thunderstorms. The rain-cooled air pushes out against out ahead of the thunderstorms. That will create additional thunderstorms as it moves to the west-southwest. 88, that is the current heat index in Indianapolis. Feels like 97 in Lafayette. Other temperatures impacted by rain are in the 70s now. Showers and thunderstorms, especially between now and say 9 o'clock. Tomorrow, they begin to bubble up again in the afternoon. The focus gradually will move to the south and west as we go through the day. Temperatures, they'll be in the upper 80s once again for the high temperatures, setting the stage for our run at 90 degrees on 6 out of the next 7 days. Overnight lows around 70. Right now we'll call it a nice but hot 4th of July weekend with rain chances very low. Mark, Amanda.
That's usually the way it works out. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate it. It'll be without fans, but NASCAR's drivers are looking forward to the Brickyard weekend at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
And that includes an Indiana native who leads the point standings heading into Saturday's race on the Speedway's road course. But Chase Briscoe's season is also a testament to the power of perseverance. Sports Director Dave First with the Sports Extra Spotlight.
If it was June in NASCAR's Xfinity Series, chances are it was Indiana's Chase Briscoe.
Chase Briscoe is a winner in the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
2 wins for the Mitchell native as he climbed back into the points lead.
So, Chase, how would you sum up the month of June for you? Not bad, huh?
Yeah, it was good. Felt like we gave maybe 1 or 2 races away, but yeah, it was a really good month.
But 2020 hasn't always been so kind. In March, he and his wife Marissa sharing the announcement that they were expecting a baby. In May, they shared the equally bitter news on social media, a miscarriage, as Chase kept tabs by FaceTime while preparing to race at Darlington.
When you hear those words from the nurse, the doctors, that there's no heartbeat.
To hear the doctor say what he did, and then to see my wife's face, and then, you know, for me to be 3.5 hours away from home, you know, time does stop.
A couple of great faith. They wanted in some way, perhaps to help others during their own difficult time. They see it as part of their testimony, and the overwhelming amount of support they received is what they think about now.
This is extremely personal. So for you, Marissa, to make this public, to help other people.
I couldn't imagine doing it all over again and not, you know, telling the world, just because, you know, just seeing those people that have reached out to kind of give us encouragement. And, you know, we didn't even realize how common it really was.
Changed his line, moved up.
Chase battled as hard as he ever has that week.
What a race off of turn 2.
Holding off Kyle Busch to win one of the most inspired drives of his young career. The power of perseverance. The 25-year-old has shown it his entire career.
I think a lot of that just comes from how I got to NASCAR and, from sleeping on couches for, 3 years and volunteering at shops. I never thought I would even get an opportunity to get in a race car. So, every lap I'm trying to prove my worth in a sense.
Well, part of that's just being from Indiana. That's a Hoosier thing.
Yeah.
And now it's back to Indiana, racing at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for a second time, but his first on the road course.
It's going to be bittersweet getting to race there without those fans, but still we got to race in Indianapolis, and it's a privilege and an honor anytime you get to go there. So I'm looking forward to going there and, being a part of something new.
He'll miss the fans he's met on this journey, but not the chance to turn a hot June into a smoking July. Dave First, RTV6 Sports.
Thanks, Dave. The NBA is scheduled to restart its season 1 month from today. The Pacers are ramping up their workouts ahead of next week's departure for the league's summer bubble in Orlando. Players and coaches have moved work to the team's facilities downtown. Limited access to just one player at a time following social distance protocols. They'll be playing games at the Wide World of Sports complex at Disney World. Today, Pacers president Kevin Pritchard talked about this unique opportunity with this revamped schedule.
You eliminate one thing that takes up a majority of your day, and that's travel. Literally, we are in there, and so the flying all over, and I think that'll give us an amazing opportunity to bring this team together.
The Pacers' 8-game schedule is slated to begin on August 1st. We'll be right back here on RTV6.
Apply online today.
Strong storms stretch from Frankfort to nearly Carmel. Torrential rainfall, gusty winds, even some hail with this. As I zoom in, again, that little outflow boundary, the squiggly green line, that shows the stronger winds pushing out ahead of the storm. You'll feel that cooler air, but it'll help build more thunderstorms across Boone County, potentially Marion and Hendricks.
Thank you for making RTV6